All right, so check this out. We're about to get into a story that kicks off with a real, actual fight on the street. But the main event, the real war, that all goes down online on the social audio app Clubhouse. See, this becomes a battle not just about who threw what punch, but about reputation, about rumors, and about this raw primal need for respect. Let's get into it. And that right there, that's the voice at the absolute center of this whole thing. You gotta let that statement sink in. It tells you everything you need to know about the stakes. For her, this was never just some scrap. Nah, this is about defending the very core of who she is. And that's the question, isn't it? That's what we're really gonna dig into. How does a raw, physical thing turn into digital content? How do you fight for the truth when the weapons aren't your hands anymore, but your words, your narrative, in a room full of avatars? Okay, so first things first, let's get the backstory straight. To really understand the fire that was raging on Clubhouse, you have to go back to the spark. You know, the thing that lit the fuse in real life. And according to her, this had nothing to do with online beef. This was about blood. This was about family. So just look at this contrast right here. On one side, you got her cousin. She's described as tiny, 4'10", barely 100 pounds, and had already been put in the hospital before. Then on the other side, you have the opponent, who's described as black and Samoan, and, well, physically intimidating. So she's saying she had to step in. It was a mismatch, a complete injustice, and somebody had to make it right. And listen to her own words. It paints the picture crystal clear. This wasn't some random fight she was looking for. To her, this was about protection. This was payback. A line was crossed, and she felt like she was the only one who could and would enforce it, period. Now, the second that last punch was thrown in real life, a whole different war started up. This was the war for the story. And the battlefield? It was Clubhouse. And just like that, rooms started popping up all over the app. You had trolls, you had the other side, and they all started spinning their own version of what went down. The whole story started to shift. All of a sudden, she wasn't the protector anymore. No, the story was she got whooped. She only won by pulling hair, and she got run out of Houston. Her real-life actions were now just content, up for public debate by anybody and everybody. But here's her defense, and it's just simple, real-world logic. She's basically saying, use your common sense. If she really lost, if she got embarrassed, shame would have her hiding in the house. But she wasn't hiding. She was outside, living life, face card not declining. To her, that was all the proof anyone needed. Her just being seen was the ultimate clapback to the rumors. And this is a masterclass in strategy. She didn't just talk, she made moves. She didn't just say, nah, I wasn't run out of Houston. No, she announced a whole power play. I'm coming back, and oh, by the way, I'm bringing some Seattle Seahawks with me. This was a show of force, a public performance designed to completely shatter the online talk with some heavy, real-world muscle. And all this, it brings us to the philosophy behind everything she does. See, she operates by this unwritten code, a code that draws a thick black line in the sand between real-life action and what she sees as just a bunch of empty talk online. And to really get the code, you gotta speak the language. And the main word here is fade. Now, a fade ain't just a fight. It's a social contract. It's how you settle disrespect, face-to-face, one-on-one. It's about action, not arguing on an app. This right here breaks down her whole worldview. On one side, you got what's valued, honor. That means handling your business in person, defending your people, and if you gotta catch that fade, you catch it. On the other side, everything she sees as cowardice. Talking tough on Clubhouse, making whole rooms to complain about getting slapped, and just being a troll instead of a man of action. And here she is, calling somebody out on it directly. She's pointing to a dude who supposedly got slapped, but instead of handling it, he ran to Clubhouse to talk about it. For her, that's the ultimate sin against the code. You're choosing the screen over the street. Talk over action. So when you boil it all down, what's the big takeaway here? This whole saga, it's so much more than just online drama. It's a perfect snapshot of the weird, blended reality we all live in now, where the line between what's real and what's digital just gets blurrier by the second. Because when you really strip it all down, that physical fight, that was just the beginning. That was just the raw material for the real show. Because the second that story hit Clubhouse, it got fed right into the content machine. It was picked apart, debated, spun, and remixed, turning a personal, real-world conflict into public entertainment. It became a war of information. So every move she made after the fight, her defiance, her big announcements, her quoting the code, it was all an attempt to prove her realness in a digital world that she sees as fundamentally fake. She was basically performing authenticity for an audience of avatars. And that's the question this whole thing leaves you with, right? In a world where every single thing you do can be spun into a story and broadcast to the entire planet, what does being real even mean anymore? Is it about what you actually do, or is it about winning the war over the story that gets told about you? Something to think about.